The Utah Jazz's asking price in a trade for big man Walker Kessler has been revealed, and we're going to break it down on today's video as you're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Ian Begley of SNY is reporting that the Utah Jazz are looking for at least one first-round pick in a trade for the third-year big man out of Auburn. Ian Begley also reported that teams have offered 2 first-round picks to Utah in the past couple of weeks, and they were rebuffed by Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz. I think we all should know at this point, though, that all first-round picks are not created equal. You've got unprotected first-round picks. We know those are the most valuable pick that a team can offer. And I have zero belief that 2 unprotected first-round picks were offered to the Utah Jazz, and they said no. Because if they did, everybody in that front office should be fired. So I'm going to take this report with a little bit of a grain of salt. Maybe it was 2 heavily protected first-round picks. There is no way that Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz declined 2 unprotected firsts for Walker Kessler. Overall, whether they did or they did not, Danny Ainge, you need to grow up, man. This is why you were fired by the Boston Celtics. You never made the trade. You had an all-NBA team of trades that you almost made. You never pulled the trigger. At some point, you have to get a deal done. And maybe once in your life, you're going to have to accept a trade that doesn't declare you as the clear-cut winner and the other team is a loser. Because it seems like Ainge is only going to make deals if he is absolutely winning that trade and the other team is absolutely losing it. It's time to grow up. And maybe you can help the Utah Jazz get out of the situation that they are in right now. The Knicks only have 2 tradable first-round picks in their back pocket right now after they gave up 4 unprotected picks for Mikal Bridges and a protected pick as well from the Milwaukee Bucks. So just 2 picks that you could offer right now. You have a 2025 first-round pick via the Detroit Pistons. That is top 13 protected. Then you also own the rights to the Washington Wizards first-round pick and the 2025 NBA draft. That is top 10 protected. This pick may never really convey, and then it would become 2 second-round picks, and the same as well with this pick. When you talk about trading for Kessler, there is no doubt that he is a really good player. There's a reason that we brought him up before any other media team did as to a player the Knicks should trade for, and there's a reason that we keep talking about it, because at 7'1" and 22 years old, he's one of the best young centers in this league and already a top rim protector and shot blocker. This past year, he averaged 2.4 blocks per game. His rookie year, he averaged 2.3 blocks per game. Walker Kessler was the number 2 shot blocker in the NBA this past season behind Victor Wembanyama, averaging 2.4 blocks per game in only 23 minutes a night. He was number 4 in blocks his rookie season, averaging 2.3 a night in 23 minutes per game. He averages 13 points and 12 rebounds with 3.7 blocks per 37 minutes. He's one of the best rim protectors there is. A little bit limited on the offensive end, no doubt about it. I would compare him to the type of player like Mitchell Robinson. I think he's got a little bit higher of a ceiling for what he can do on offense. I think he's got more skill and passes the ball a little bit better. But when it comes to defense, he can attack the glass, and he can protect the rim, and he makes drivers think twice about before attacking the cup. This is a trade idea that I thought maybe would be a little bit thought-provoking. Last week, we asked you, would you do the trade Walker Kessler for Deuce McBride straight up? And the results were split 50-50 between 10,000 votes. 50% said yes, 50% said no. And with new information being presented to us via Ian Begley of SNY that they want at least 1 first-round pick and that they declined offers for multiple first-round picks, I thought, well, maybe if the Knicks actually want to get this deal done, they'd have to throw in one of their protected first-round picks. So Deuce McBride and that 2025 first-round pick that comes from Washington that is heavily protected. Would you make this trade? I'm curious to hear from all of the real ones out there. If you were sitting in the seat of Leon Rose and Danny Ainge said, you know what? If you give us Deuce McBride and that first-round pick from Washington, we'll make the deal. Would you? Type A for accept, type D for decline. Overall, Walker Kessler is a really good young player, and I think that he could develop into one of the best rim-protecting, shot-blocking big men in this league under Tom Thibodeau with OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and the plethora of defensive weapons that the New York Knicks have around him. But if it is true that the Jazz want not 1, but maybe even 2 first-round picks, I think the value lines up with the player. It's just the New York Knicks do not have the capital to make that happen. You already gave up 4 unprotected for Mikal Bridges. You already gave up an additional protected pick in there. You gave up a pick swap. The most tradable, or you only have 2 tradable first-round picks at this point. Do you really want to waste them all on Walker Kessler? I think it'd be a good play, but you don't want to take really your currency out of your hands for when you don't know what may become available for purchase down the line. Something to think about? What I know for sure is they got to do something at the center position. I'm okay with Mitchell Robinson being the starting center if he is healthy, which is something he has not done all that much of lately. Only one time in the past 4 years has he played in more than 59 games played. So I think it's a little bit irresponsible to enter the season with Jericho Sims being the backup center for Mitchell Robinson. This is your Knicks roster heading into the year. Your starting lineup is going to be Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Randall, and Robinson at the 5. Your bench is starting to be filled out. Deuce McBride, Tyler Kolek, Dante DiVincenzo, Pacome Dadier, Josh Hart, Kevin McCullough Jr., Keita Bates, Diop, Jacob Toppin on a 2-way deal with Jericho Sims and Ariel Huck-Porty as your center rotation. You got to do something at that spot. And the first place I'm looking at is Precious Achiuwa. You own his bird rights. There's no reason not to re-sign him. Is he the best center in the world? No. Is he even a center? That's a question that you could ask. More of a 4 at 6'8", 230 pounds. Could play that undersized 5. Played pretty good when he had to be inserted into the starting lineup for the New York Knicks. Averaged like 13 and 10 in that 18-game sample size. We know that he could be a good shot blocker. I think he's going to continue to progress in this league. I don't think he's a finished product by any means. And I think he can learn and grow even more on the defensive end under Tom Thibodeau. Some other free agents, there's not really any good ones left. We've seen Paul Reed sign today. So we're looking at people like Dario Saric. Do the New York Knicks want to go out and sign Dario Saric in NBA free agency? I think the better question is, does Saric being signed to the Knicks fix any of the problems that they currently have? Because I don't think that Saric is the type of big man that Tom Thibodeau would play at that 5 spot. So I'm not so sure about that. What about JaVale McGee? I mean, these are the type of players that are left. The New York Knicks saw a bunch of quality centers in free agency and didn't make any moves to go get him. They saw him go sign with somewhere else. JaVale McGee, sure, if you want to come play on a veteran minimum, we'll take you. It ain't moving the needle, and it doesn't make me sleep any easier at night with the center rotation the Knicks have. Tristan Thompson, is he a lefty or is he a righty at this point? I don't know. He didn't know entering his NBA career. This is what you got. You got nothing but journeyman veterans on the market that are available at the center position. Overall, this is how I feel. Going all in like you did to trade for OG Anunoby and to sign Mikal Bridges, which were excellent moves. I gave him A+, and at the time of the deals, I told you the Knicks were dead away winners. But to do all that, to push all your chips into the middle of the table, to enter this season with a center rotation of Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims, and Ariel Huck-Porty, that's irresponsible, and that just ain't it. Because you are right now 1 injury away from Mitchell Robinson, from Jericho Sims starting playoff games, and Ariel Huck-Porty being your first big off the bench. I'm not trying to swim in those waters, man. I'm just not. The Knicks are going to look to the trade market. So we're talking about Walker Kessler. We've also heard that Nick Richards is a player that they're interested in of the Charlotte Hornets. I'm sure they're poking around other markets. We've mentioned Davis Bertans, as a free agent option. He's not really a center. He's a stretch 4. It's slim pickings out there. What are the Knicks going to do? We'll keep you in the loop. That's why you subscribe. But if you want a centers trade targets videos, trade targets that play the center position, I'll come up with the list. If you want that video, hit that thumbs up icon for me right now. And make sure you are following me over on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Knicks.